Grab a snack and a beverage. This one's longer than usual. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we've got an unboxing to do. This afternoon we took a trip up to the city, do some shopping, went out to lunch, and I wanted to stop at the hobby shop and pick up some drive shafts for my two-wheel drive ECX Torment short course truck, because I spun one of those out some time ago and the truck's just been sitting there waiting to get fixed. So went in there to get the drive shafts that I needed, and this followed me home. And as I'm sure a lot of you know, this has recently been released. It's the Team Losi Mini JRX2 1/16 scale electric off-road retro buggy, faithful recreation of the old 1/10 scale buggy from way back in the day. And from my understanding, when they had done this, I kind of wish that they had recreated the 1/10 scale, but from what I'm hearing, they did the 1/16 scale so as not to affect the vintage market out there. So, you know, not sure how I feel about that, but hey, whatever. So because this was 1/16, it looked cool. I like the retro. The original 1/10 scale I never owned, but I just thought that this looked so retro awesome that even though it was 1/16, I was gonna have to give it a shot. And so I picked the red one up. That one, just the look of the three different schemes, that one looked the coolest to me. So let's get this thing out of the box. We'll have a look. And I already did open the box. By the way, this retails for $169.99. I already opened the box because I wanted to have the battery charged by the time I got out here, so I could also do a quick run video along with the unboxing. But so as far as charging, you will get a USB LiPo charger. This charges at a current 1.5 amps max, and the battery you are charging is the Dynamite Reaction 650 milliamp hour 2S 7.4 LiPo. It is a 20C battery. In this bag, you've got the instruction manual, AA batteries for the radio, classic T-wrench, bind plug, and that is it. Like I said, I already opened this up so I can get the battery out and charged. And to not spoil the unboxing, I didn't want to take the whole car out, but you got to take the body off to get that battery out to charge it. And I'm already gutted, guys. This thing has 4 body clips on it. They're tiny. They're a pain in the butt because I've got fat fingers. So, you know, with this or any smaller RC, I like to use smaller needle nose pliers to take the body clips off. But in my hurry to get the battery charged, I did not go upstairs to get these pliers, and I paid the price. I already put a nice gouge in that white decal on the top of the car. So, yeah, pretty unfortunate there. But these things are tethered in, so I'll pause up the video, get them loose, and we'll show you the car. Okay, so before we take a quick look at the car, here is the radio. It is a Spectrum SLT2. It takes 4 AA batteries that load here in the bottom. And I don't know if this is a new radio or not by Spectrum. I've never seen one like this. Maybe it's new. For you guys that like to drive one-handed, there you go. I think most guys could probably do that. And, you know, you've got your functionalities. You've got steering, throttle, dual rates, steering reverse on the back, and a throttle limiter switch on the back as well, where you can set this to 50%, 75%, 100% on the throttle. I always like when companies do that. It's especially more inviting for beginners, people learning how to drive an RC car. Onto the car itself, I picked the red. I just thought the red looked really good, which is odd because I'm normally not a fan of red. But I thought the red coupled with these wheels looked pretty sweet. One thing I like though about one of the other colors, there's a black one that has kind of like purplish wheels. I thought that looked very good. But the blue buggy, I thought looked really cool because that had the Losi decals on it that I recall with the fat Team Losi lettering done up like in a purplish pink. It would have been cool if Losi would have included a decal sheet with some of those varied decals to put on your car, but they didn't. No big deal. But yeah, here's a look at the car with the body on it. It looks great, minus my scrape on that. Oh, that's gonna bother me. But you know, 1/16 scale, proper oil shocks. These don't have these actually have threaded collars to adjust your spring tension. And you know, instead of all the rage today with the threaded shock collars, this, you know, again, keeping in that retro styling. This car does have current day 48 pitch gears for the transmission. It is a 42 turn brushed motor and a unique 5-link suspension. This is pretty different. Definitely need some work on these shocks here in the back. Oh, the rebound is not there, but yeah, that 5-link suspension, that's something different, especially on a buggy, and it kind of makes me wonder what possibly down the road, what else Losi may be doing, possibly with this chassis. You know, maybe will they bring back some other classics in a 1/16 scale? You know, who knows? Time will tell, and we'll see. Steering servo is a Spectrum SX107 analog servo. It is a industry standard 3-wire servo, and you have the Spectrum 2-in-1 ESC. It's a 25 amp ESC. These rear shocks, I'm not crazy about that. There, we're starting to get some spring back on them now. But, yeah, I don't know. Not crazy about that there. But yeah, full adjustability, you know, to set your camber and your toe angles as well. It is a fiberglass chassis. But, you know, for 1/16, when I had their Mini T, the brushless Mini T, which is 1/18, I thought that car, especially given the power system that was in there, I thought the car seemed very well engineered. The car seemed very well designed. I thought that it handled really well. And also, you get ball bearings in this one as well. I'm trying to wrap this up in my head because my son came in here and turned the television on, so I know that noise is also probably going to be in the video as well. So if you want better unboxings, I'm sure there's a ton of them out there already on this car. So I'm going to button this one up. We'll get the battery put in there and we'll get outside and we'll do a quick running video. Okay, so we're out back here on the concrete pad, and we're going to start at 50% briefly, just to show you, you know, the speed of the car. You see right there, 50%. Easy enough if you were to hand this off to a young kid. That's it. Very controllable, very mellow. Switch it to 75. And 100, where we'll do the rest of it. And I've already seen other videos out there with this car, people doing speed tests. And this thing tops out, I believe, I saw 15 miles an hour. First roll within the first couple of minutes, and that wing popped right off. Hang on a sec. Okay, so before I put this back together, I've actually got a couple of friends that both picked this up today. And talking to my friend Dave, he had said these caps that hold the wing down, they're black. You would do best to paint them like a fluorescent orange or something like that, so that when you lose them, they are that much easier to find. And it took me only about a minute here, but you know, if it was starting to get dark or something, I would have had a hard time. But that came off pretty darn easily, so we're gonna put these back on, then we'll get on with the run. Okay, so out here fidgeting around trying to get that wing back on. I fiddled with it for a couple of minutes, and you've got these things here where your caps go down through the wing and lock into place there. And like I said, after a couple of minutes, I got a little bit frustrated. And for the rest of this run, I'm not going to bother putting that back on as easily as that came off. I'm sure one more tumble and the thing would come off. So we're going to finish this run without the rear spoiler on there. Now, my initial thoughts driving this right now, I love the retro looks. I could see this being like a cool class to race with in the wintertime. You know, indoors. You know, if you can procure like a gymnasium or something like that, get a few guys with some of these and do some racing. It handles pretty good. I mean, this area here, this concrete's old and it's very cracked, very bumpy. There's rocks and all that stuff. And so even though this thing might only top out at 15 miles an hour, because it's so small and pretty nimble, you know, it feels like you're moving at a fast enough pace, at least for me. Now, what's got me curious, because I had the brushless Mini T and I didn't hang on to that. I ended up selling that, but not because I didn't like it, but I wanted to get money for other RCs, and I wasn't going to run the 1/18th all that much, especially out here. Now, I know Losi does the Mini B as well, which is a 1/16th. I would kind of be curious to get my hands on that buggy and do a comparison video between the two. You know, do like a long-term review on the both of them to see which one might be a better purchase for you, but I don't know if that's something I'll actually do. But drives pretty nice. I cut my grass this morning and it's cooking through there, but you know, I think to have a lot of fun on grass, you would have to cut your grass down to basically nothing. Although that little round section on my track I did cut very short, so maybe I'll take it over there, see how it does. Okay, so out here on my track, the diameter around the track, I set the mower deck right down to the bottom so I can cut the grass as low as possible in hopes that as summer advances I can quote unquote burn that grass off. And it's going around here well enough. It's not hopping around too bad. I'm actually kind of surprised it's doing pretty good. And this, I've got it pegged. Don't mind the pallets I've got sitting there. I've been moving them around, letting them sit there for a week in different areas, just trying to get the grass killed off. And honestly, I was hoping to get the summer series started tomorrow. Not even sure which cars I would run. But right now it is looking like rain and thunderstorms all day tomorrow, so it's probably gonna have to wait another week to start that. This car's actually going around here pretty good for as small as it is. The suspension's soaking it up pretty well. And for the most part going around here, I've got it pegged. It's actually handling pretty well. And this car will be part of the summer series of time lapse. There's another 1/16th rig coming that I will pair this up against. And we'll get on with that as well. kind of pleasantly surprised how well this is going around the short grass. Like I said, I bet these would be really fun to race indoors or even outdoors, like if you had some of that, I don't know what it is, that outdoor grass stuff. AstroTurf, I guess. But with my grass here being cut down, man, don't mind the cows, sorry about that. But this is getting along pretty well here. Could it do with a slightly hotter motor? Maybe, possibly. But I really think with any kind of a hotter motor, at least here going around the oval at my track, I don't think I'd be able to keep it pegged. I figured I'd take it over here to the little rough section just to see how it did over that. Not that this area was what the car was intended for, but you know, just in case you are wondering about the mooing, got lots of beef cattle over here at the moment, which I'm sure most of them will end up down the road where I work at some point. But yeah, let's check this out. Didn't see that big rock right there. And as you might expect, this car on the rougher stuff is going to get hung up, but that's not what it was intended for. Again, pretty nimble car, handles pretty well. This stuff back here is pretty rough, and it's handling it well. It holds the ground well, pretty responsive. Is no burner. But for my purposes, again, the older I get, the more okay I am with driving slower cars anyways. Okay, so we got the first run done. There's still more left in the battery pack. Off camera, I'm gonna take and finish running the car. Initial impressions. This wing system here of holding the wing on, hate it. I gotta say I'm not a fan of that. You know, and probably, you know, maybe even just 10 years ago it wouldn't have bothered me as much, but you know, little parts on little cars, it didn't hold up to the first rollover. I'm not going to feel like putting that on there every time, so that wing might only go on there when it's seeing shelf duty. But the car itself handled well for being 1/16 scale. I thought the suspension soaked up the terrain pretty well. It did actually quite a bit better around my grass track than I thought that it would. The tires hooked up well on all surfaces, and you know, let's face it, I think for a lot of us that are going to get this car, we're going for that old school Team Losi look. But driving this, I kept thinking about the Mini Bee, their other 1/16 scale buggy, and I believe that typically that buggy retails typically for $159, so $10 less than the JRX2 here. And the JRX2, this one here has a 42 turn brush motor, and I believe that the Mini Bee has a 47 turn brush motor. So it'll be tempting for me to pick up the Mini Bee to do some comparisons, but I don't know if I actually will. First run, was it enjoyable? Yes. I dislike the wing very much. 4 body clips to hold this on. I agree with my other friend that got this car today as well. He thought 4 body clips were overkill, and on a car this size, I don't think you need them. And again, small cars, small body clips, old guy, fat fingers. Like I said, I put a gouge before this car actually ever even came out of the box. But, you know, I think I can dial the suspension in a little bit better. I'm not sure how I feel about the 5-link suspension in this car. Again, it makes me wonder possibly what else Losi might have up their sleeve with this design. But for me, for, you know, a 2-wheel drive motor in the rear buggy, it just kind of seemed unnecessary to me, I guess. Again, I'm no expert, but do I think this car was a bad purchase at $169? No, I don't. RC cars, just like gasoline and everything else nowadays, are a lot more expensive than they need to be. And so I really can't fault that. Are there some things maybe I would have liked to have seen done differently? Yes. But it would have been nice to see extra decals in the box, capturing that old school Losi flavor. With these body pins, I tend to call those little MFers. And I'm sure you guys know what that stands for. I had a couple of these ping out on me when I was putting the body on, so I had to look around here on the garage floor before I found them. So would have been cool to have some extra ones of those. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm down in this buggy at all. The drive was fun, and my friend Dave bought one today too, so I'm sure we're going to get together and do some racing with it. And like I said, this car is going to go up against another 1/16 out on the track when I get that series rolling. But, you know, all in all, it was a fun first rip. I'm going to go out and finish this battery pack, and rest assured, guys, we're going to see more on this car. Probably the next time will be in the summer series, but as I keep running it throughout the summer when time allows, I will do a follow-up long-term review on this car. So guys, if you stuck around this long, as always, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to watch my videos. That always means a lot. And until next time, everybody stay safe. We'll see you around.